This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
A report published in Bloomberg News has raised concerns over the decreasing corn yields being recorded in Nigeria, which have dipped to record lows for the first time since 2019. The report also identified insecurity, high input costs, and droughts as factors affecting the production of corn in the country. Now, with corn serving as a staple for meals across the country and most parts of sub-Saharan Africa, this represents a worrying trend for the continent. Joining us in the conversation this morning is Miracle Unduka, a co-founder and a director at Kitovu Technology Company. Ms. Unduka, thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Right. What do you make of this report that talks about the decreasing corn yields in Nigeria?
This report is actually the reality on ground presently in Nigeria. It is the reality, and it's one to be worried about. The agri sector, especially sector, is experiencing a decline that would plunge the nation into food scarcity and corn scarcity precisely if nothing is deliberately done about it.
So we need to. So you've identified food scarcity and corn scarcity in Nigeria's immediate effects, but this report also says that there's a wider implication for sub-Saharan Africa. Can you speak to us on what that implication is?
Okay. The implication is that there will definitely be corn scarcity, and one of the reasons for this decline in corn production in Nigeria currently and in the sub-Saharan section of the African sub-Saharan section is that there is insecurity, especially in Nigeria, and farmer abandonment. Many farmers have been forced to abandon their fields due to the rise in kidnapping and banditry. The fear of being attacked and kidnapped while working their lands has led them to significantly reduction, have led to a significant reduction in the number of farmers actively cultivating corn. This is not only reduces our agricultural output as a whole, but it also deepens the economic struggles of those who rely on farming for their livelihoods. As an organization, we have had to abandon operations in some parts of the country due to insecurity, and have also had some farmers who work under us pay ransom to bandits to harvest their crops. That situation is actually a very ridiculous atmosphere to operate on, and it's not encouraging. Right. Another problem is the rising cost of inputs across all sections of inputs. One of them is a bag of fertilizer, went from 17,000 naira to 46,000 naira currently. This increase has made it almost impossible for smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan African countries to afford inputs they need to grow their crops. Media is barely ready financing for them. As a result, many have either reduced size of their farms or opted out of farming entirely.
Right. Ms. Unduka, I do apologize for interrupting you. But let's look at the rest of Africa and how this affects them. Now, we do know that Nigeria is involved in exportation, especially to its closest neighbors. With these droughts and all the factors that we've talked about this morning, how is the rest of sub-Saharan Africa going to cope with reduced corn yields in Nigeria?
It is going to be telling on them. What do you expect when the river is dry? There will be no supply. When the head of the river is dry, there will be no supply. So when the farmers who make these productions are already struggling to feed their neighborhood, when they already struggle to feed their community, to feed their family, to feed Nigeria as a whole, how do you expect neighboring countries to get all the supplies they need.
I mean,
When
we
the
know.
head is affected, the whole body is affected. So other neighboring countries are also affected. So they will also have very huge decline in corn.
So we know that Nigeria is essentially the largest maize producer on the continent, right? And if there is reduced output and it affects the rest of the continent, expectations are that African countries will start looking outside of the continent to import maize, right? So maybe we would have to track the trajectory of maize imports over the next few years. But earlier this year, Nigeria approved biotech corn for commercial planting. And there have been some concerns around GMOs, but it's supposed to be a way that government is taking advantage of or trying to ensure more yield per hectare. How would you assess this plan? Do you think that it's the right way to go? Would it solve our problems in the interim?
Okay, thank you for that very pertinent question. It's very important this is brought to for now. I personally, I don't subscribe to those GMOs because my organization actually have a solution which we have been dishing out to the farmers we work with. Currently, we have a solution that can increase yields in Nigeria, and we have testimonies from our farmers. There are up to 12,000 of them, more than 12,000 farmers shared across states in Nigeria, and more precisely in the north. At Kitobu, we have built solutions. So I don't subscribe personally to GMOs because you never can tell what may emanate from such exercises. You might not see them now, but they will tell in the future. So at Kitobu, we are working hard to support grain farmers in overcoming these challenges through our Yield Max service. Yield Max, just like the name implies, we provide data-driven advisory and matching farmers with the right inputs, ensuring they get the most out of their limited resources. We also offer storage solutions. Yeah, the storage solution in our Storage X platform, which helps reduce post-harvest losses by providing efficient storage options.
Right. So,
and we also have e-procure. Okay, sorry.
So you're essentially saying that storage and more information, knowledge about whether it's the quality of the soil or the quality of the seed and all of that would help towards better yield as opposed to using GMOs.
Towards maximizing crop. Yes, it will help definitely. It will help increase the yield of.
Ms. Unduka, thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning. We appreciate your time. Miracle Unduka is co-founder and director at Kitovu Technology Company, speaking to us on latest reports from the U.S. that actually say that Nigeria's corn yield has continued to decrease over the years as a result of insecurity and other factors.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay